Welcome back, everyone. We're here for our last press announcement of the afternoon for the 2021 ARC Industry Forum. I'm very pleased to introduce Stefan Hapa from the OPC Foundation. Stefan's going to provide some interesting updates, and as always, please feel free to submit your questions to the Q&A, and we will address them live after Stefan finishes talking. So with that, please take it away, Stefan.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you very much for the opportunity to talk here to you virtually. Last year, I have been at the ARC Forum in Orlando. It was my last big travel. Since that time, I'm staying at home. I reduced my body weight a little bit. But this year, honestly, obviously, it makes sense to stay at home to be more safe in this pandemic time. But this is how it looks like right now. I'm staying here in my home office with a lot of equipment. And first time after 10, 12 years, we have snow. And now, well, because of the huge dimension of North America, I'm aware that if people like Tom Burke in Ohio is looking to this little snow, he will laugh and say, hey, this is what you mean with snow. Hey, again, we in my region, we hadn't snow for the last 10, 12 years. It's about 20, 30 centimeters. It's something like if at the OPC headquarters in Arizona and Scottsdale, there would be snow, and so Mike Bryant would be completely, he wouldn't know what to do, and traffic would break down and so on. And that's exactly the situation here. Hey, today we have a really huge presentation, and I'm just taking care on the red marked part here. Taking a little bit, giving you a short overview on the OPC Foundation, but more talk about OPC UA FX specifications, which you have, I believe, never heard before, and this is why we also provide you a press release here. I'm today only really talking about the three major facts where I believe these are critical important for the next decades. So I'm skipping all the marketing stuff. I'm just talking on the three topics which I believe are so critical, important. If you condense everything, if I just have a very few minutes time, these were the three topics I would talk about. Okay, so it's OPC UA FX, it's the VDMA global production language, it's OPC UA for cloud. These are the three major topics. Okay, let's start. Again, at the ARC Forum 2020, where I believe this is the biggest meeting place in North America, which I pretty much enjoyed, we made two major deals last year. First of all, I met Mike Clark first time in my life, and we had a really good relationship, and the OPC Foundation hired him. Mike Clark has become the new director North America, and you see his email here. He's very dedicated expert in the world of the process automation world. So he is our new face in North America, and he will be in contact with you. And second, I had a lot of talks last year at the ARC Forum with John Dyke as a CEO from the SESME Association. And we are partnering since that day with SESME a lot on information models. And we hear a little bit more later on this UA for Cloud library. But let's have a short overview on the OPC Foundation itself. I think I don't have to explain everything from the start. You know the OPC Foundation for years now. So just really the delta, the update. Number one, the OPC Foundation is still growing. We have now over 800 members. This is really what makes us really proud. And you see here the new elected board of directors. The OPC Foundation is a democratic organization. We are electing the board members by the member community, and we extended the board by Amazon Process Automation. So in general, and this is also always important for me to mention, the openness of the OPC Foundation. You don't have to be a member to download release specifications. You don't have to be a paying member to get access to all the sample code because it's open source on GitHub. You don't have to be a paying member to go with your product or your machine to an OPC lab and increase quality. You can just go there, pay your daily fee, and that's it. Members get a discount, but hey, that's okay. We are really proud to have one of the most modern IPR policies because we are not only protecting our own membership, we are also protecting everybody who is using the technology. So OPCUA in summary, and I'm shrinking it down. This is the only short statement I do on OPCUA. OPCUA, if you shrink it down for everything, there are 3 keywords which you should know about. OPCUA is not a protocol, it's much more. OPCUA is about secured industrial interoperability. And this is what we deliver on the left side with the technology itself. In the middle, with all our collaborations with partners, we have 60 more joint working groups where we define semantic. And on the right side, you see that obviously we also provide validation and certification. We have tools which you can also get as a non-paying member for small money with more than 1,800 test scripts, not only for OPCUA, but also for companion specifications. Some of the companion specifications require mandatory certification like MDIS for oil and gas, but some of them are also providing just optional certification or even just validation like PA-DIM status today, what we do together with the field com group. There is no official certification process today, but for validation and have access, does my device provide the correct PA-DIM information model? This is a good starting point. So why then join the OPC Foundation? That might be a good question, and hopefully you have much better questions later on today. But here you have a perfect answer from Volkswagen, from Michael Schweiger. He says, becoming a member provides you early insights in key technologies which will influence your business later on. Yeah, good, huh? Which will influence your business later on. And so you can influence the direction of the OPC Foundation, or you have early insights by just monitoring when does it make sense to start, and what is the status of a group. Last year, just these huge enterprise customers, enterprise companies joined the OPC Foundation. As you see, it's across the world, from Asia, from North America, from Europe, and it's also in different domains. It's from the pharmaceutical industry, it's from industrial automation, from telecommunication entity, Communication Japan, but also Google Cloud, where I believe I don't have to introduce this giant of the cloud service providers. So overall, one of the messages, the OPC Foundation is the world's largest ecosystem for industrial interoperability. There is no other initiative with that large, huge power. And that's why we feel a little bit like the United Nations of industrial automation in the best meaning, where everybody can meet on a neutral ground, where everybody only has one voice. The big, large company has the same one voice only compared to a small company. No country, no company can dominate this OPC Foundation. We are completely independent. Let's really start on the 3 most important technologies and technology, what I believe we will see over the next decades. OPCUA FX specifications has exactly been started by an initiative which has been called Field Level Communications. We started this initiative in November 2018 at the SBS show in Germany. And this is an initiative inside the OPC Foundation where 27 leading automation companies and technology providers do an extra contribution by money, but also with a lot human resource. Overall, the working groups are open for all OPC Foundation members. And so in summary, there are 300 dedicated technical experts from 60 companies. And they are working together to work on this OPC FX specifications, which we have never mentioned till today worldwide. Somewhere else, it's the first time that we mention this kind of specifications here at this ARC forum. And this is a pleasure for us to announce it here live. So what is OPC FX specification? It's an extension on the basic OPC specification. And this series, FX series, is extending OPC to fulfill all requirements from both the process industry and the factory automation world. It is not just focusing on one technology. It's not only delivering deterministic real time, because we are extending it with TSN, underlying IT infrastructure below. No, we are also doing that with Ethernet APL for the process industry. But much more important is that we have harmonized information models, that we can do controller to controller horizontal communication, but also controller to device and device to device communication. So we believe that a harmonized approach for controllers and devices in both process and factory automation, where they have a lot of identical interfaces for asset management, power management, how to do online, offline configuration. There's so much overlap that we believe we have to bring this together. And that's why we have this huge amount of experts on board. We will have dedicated sessions this week at ARC Forum from Peter Lutz, the director of the FLC initiative, and you should really listen to him in more detail. So it's an extension of the existing OPC. It's not a new OPC, it's an extension. It fulfills all requirements, deterministic real-time, OPC safety, OPC motion. First time, as mentioned, we are announcing here the OPC FX specification series. They are already existing as an initial release candidate. And this initial release candidate, the next step, also announced here first time. The next step is to identify and create facets and profiles. Well, what's that and how to explain that in easy words? Think about this. OPC is a huge collection of technology bricks. Maybe you have the Lego bricks in mind, which is just a collection of a lot of bricks. So if you tell somebody, hey, I want to order a PLC or another device, a pump, and it should support Lego or it should support OPC, this is not enough. Nobody knows what is inside. So you have to make a long list of all the functionalities of the functionality technology bricks, which is inside. And this is not really helpful. What we need is to build packages, like you know from the Lego world, where you have dedicated packages to build a boat, a ship, or a house, or whatever, a farm, something like that. And then you can order it with a precisely name. And this kind of grouping, this is exactly now where the FLC initiative is starting, and putting all together the mandatory feature set, which is required for a lot of automation component to really allow easy controller to controller, controller to device, device to device communication, because they just have to support a specific profile with a lot of assets, functionalities inside. So we will hear much more from them. And exactly this is also our press release, which is available today here. And it's a pleasure that we provided this press release here at this ARC forum. The next topic. So just again, back, because I want to highlight that you are really aware. This OPC FX specification series, as an extension of the regular OPC, is the dominating factor for the next decades in both process automation and the factory automation. It will take some time here and there, but we will see also good results soon in areas where it's easy to do horizontal communication, what we can do on today's technology. But there are other specifications where we are depending on, where we have dependencies on, and this might take a little bit more time. But this is a gravity center of the world, and we are proud to have that under the roof of the OPC Foundation. Second big topic, providing secured interoperability and exchanging information is not enough. What we need is the next level. We need semantic interoperability. We need information models. We need to know the meaning of data and their behavior. And yes, we are cooperating with a lot of partners in the world. Overall, we have 60 partners and joint working group initiatives around the world. And honestly, it's a little bit unfair to highlight a dedicated one here, because in their specific market, they are the leaders, obviously. I already mentioned MDIS for oil and gas, and they made an MDIS information model for a lot of components in that area. And same, we have that in factory automation, in the energy market, even in the industrial kitchen equipment, and so on. But from these more than 60 joint working groups and specifications, round about the half is from the VDMA and their internal initiatives together with the OPC Foundation. And so this is why I like to highlight a little bit the VDMA, because again, I believe this is changing the world in the next decades. So the OPC Foundation, the VDMA realized early the importance of OPCA to be an open, independent framework to allow secured end-to-end interoperability. And on top of that, they started exactly on specifying information models for specific domains. And here you see the 30 plus initiatives, and you can really see based on the colors, is it released already? Is it implemented? Is it available? Which are running, and so on. And this is not only factory automation, what you might believe, it's also for the process industry, for pumps, motors, and other topics. It's a perception to believe this is only factory automation. So the VDMA is working with a huge number of companies behind. They have more than 3,000 member companies. And just in one specific working group for machine vision, intelligent cameras, and they made this as an international specification available, which has been accepted by all world global standards in US, in Asia, in Europe, and even the World Roof Organization accepted their specification. So this is what the VDMA has done in the domain-specific area, but now they work together inside the VDMA in cooperation with the OPC Foundation to do harmonization. What is overlapping? What can we reuse, let's say, as a base class for all kinds of companion specifications? And this is what they call OPCUA for machinery. Again, this might sound like this is for factory automation only, but again, here my message, this is for both factory automation and process automation. And this is a critical important base class, which we will see it's becoming reality in a lot of machines in the future. OPCUA machinery is a base class which provides basic functionality for identification, machine status, job management, and so on. And this will again be the base class. And I'm really proud that Mr. Fahd from VDMA has a dedicated presentation specifically focused on process automation, but also on factory automation later here at this ARC forum on February 10th and February 11th, what you see here on the slide. After looking OPCUA in the field level and in the information model area, OPCUA is also scaling to the cloud. And for me, it's a real pleasure to see the idea behind, which is driven by Erich Barnstedt from Microsoft, saying, hey, we can move data from assets like a robot up to the cloud and back. But hey, there's one piece missing, and this is we want to store OPC information models in the cloud. We want to be able to access them with normal IT standards like REST API calls, but obviously it should be OPCUA over REST API, like we do OPCUA over TCP, over UDP, over MQTT, because we love all of that. OPCUA is not a protocol. We are just moving standardized information over different protocols. And so we will run OPCUA over REST API also. And the idea behind is You order a specific device, a pump for the process industry, but you also download the pump information model from that cloud-based library. You start creating your dashboards and your IT stuff. And once a pump is there, you just have everything ready. You just connect secure to the device and you can exchange information. You save engineering time. That's it. If you want to learn more about this OPCUA for Cloud Library, where all the big brand IT companies work together, then you should definitely join this OPC presentation from Erich Bahnstedt here at this ARC forum on February 11th. A little bit the summary. Number one, for the process industry. If we are putting all puzzle pieces together, we have OPCUA as an accepted technology. We have a lot of collaboration partners. The Open Group, who's working on the OPAS framework, which is based on OPCUA. Namur Open Architecture, which has dedicated that OPCUA is mandatory for the second channel, for the diagnosis channel. For me, this is just an intermediate step. The milestone obviously is that people become more and more familiar with OPCUA, with the security, how to configure it. It's a learning curve, and then OPCUA will grow into the first data channel over the years, definitely. And helpfully for this is that we joined the Ethernet APL initiative. So OPCUA, together with other partners, is bringing different protocols, also OPCUA, over Ethernet APL to the market. And so the package, what we do with a lot of other partners is have Ethernet APL on top OPCUA, have the extensions with OPCUA FX for the process industry, harmonized with factory automation, have other frameworks like the OPAS, where we completely cooperate with to avoid any overlap. We have a fantastic cooperation with them. And we have on top a lot of more of these information models. And again, it's the largest ecosystem of the world with the OPC Foundation with more than 800 companies. There is a dedicated presentation slot here for the process industry. It's about Peter Lutz with the FLC initiative, Mr. Fahd, with Don Bartusiak from the OPA forum, but also end users from Equinor and BASF. So I highly recommend you to join that session. Looking quickly to the factory automation, it's the same. We know all the building blocks here, but for factory automation, obviously TSN has a big impact, and the OPC Foundation partnered, made a liaison with the IEEE because we want to make sure that everybody is using the same TSN cable, that we can run multiple other protocols together with OPCUA on this TSN IT infrastructure. And we have a lot of companion specification partners again here, but also the global machine language, same as in the process industry, is critically important. And again, we are happy to have a dedicated factory automation talk here. It's again Peter Lutz, this time with a focus on factory automation. This time, Mr. Fahd from VDMA with the focus on factory automation, but I'm super proud also to have Renault and BMW as end user speakers from the automotive industry. So as a summary here, if you look to this harmonized approach for both the factory automation and process automation, this is why I believe that the combination of OPCUA plus OPCUA FX is the gravity center for your business in process and factory automation in the next decades. Last but not least, just a short hint, next to the two presentation blocks I advertised already for process automation and factory automation, we are also extremely proud to have this time not only Microsoft, but also Google Cloud and AWS here at this ARC forum. And this is definitely my message to you. Please join that presentation. With that, I made my presentation. Thank you very much for your audience and attendees, and maybe we have some questions here.
Stefan, we're kind of run out of time. So I'm going to say if anyone has questions, please ask people to follow up with you afterwards if we could. We've been keeping people on here for a long time, so I don't want to hold them longer than necessary. But thank
I'm
you so
fine with
much.
that.
Thank you
see
so
my
much.
you see my email here, and obviously I appreciate all questions. Thank you very much for that.
And thank you for the presentation, Stefan. And thank you, thank you, everyone else for participating today. Hope you found it worthwhile. And if you're having trouble getting into the virtual press room, please send me an email, and we will work those issues out. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the forum. It's going to be another great one this year. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mhm.